Okay, Jill, over to you. Thank you.
Okay. You need to let me share my screen, Derek, please. Right. Okay. Yes. I guess Derek asked me to say a bit about me. So I had a very brief attempt at network marketing 30 odd years ago with NSA selling water filters. It didn't sell very many. Bought way too much stock, sold it back to the company at a loss, um, and then thought I would never get involved in anything similar. And then Derek showed me Hyperfund, so I joined up with that. And the obvious thing for me in terms of where I could really do with making money is to support a charity that I'm very involved in and is building rebuilding a temple in Hampshire. And there's a gap in the budget, so that's really my motivation. And recently I've been talking to another charity, a local charity that I support, and the marketing manager has put it in front of their finance director, and I'm waiting to hear um, more about where they think that could go for them, and hopefully get the chance to talk to their uh, um, finance and business director to myself, but I haven't had that chance so far. So yes, Hyperfund is amazing from my point of view. So unloading the plug-in pistol, and this book, as I've said before, is somewhat dated, and each chapter is about a problem that you may come across in your first year in network marketing. I've taken unloading the pistol to be about taking the bullets out of it. I guess it could mean firing it, but um, in any case, it's something that we don't want. And the actual problem that it's talking to about is about plugins. So you introduce a new member to your network, but they're in another geographical area. And so you find contacts in that area to plug your new member in so they can go to their trainings and presentations and all that sort of stuff. And this would have made more sense when the book was written, when all meetings were in person, and going to a meeting meant going to potentially quite a big meeting in a hotel that would have a presentation or a training. So it would have been much more of a problem without Zoom, and we don't have any problem with members who are physically distant because we do so much through Zoom. But there's still some things in this chapter of the book that are relevant to us, I think. So plugging into a long distance training meeting is not necessarily a good idea, because training is essential to our business, and good initial training is lets you duplicate the success of the people who are most successful. But if you're trying to deal with people at a distance, then they'll be getting a training from a different network, and they may do things slightly differently. And that's going to lead to confusion, because I'll be talking to that person based on how I do it, how our team does it. But if they've been trained in a different system, it might not be that different, but even if it's a bit different, it's going to cause confusion. It also suggests bewaring of company imposed standard training, mostly because a lot of those were done by training companies who were employed to deliver the same training over and over, and weren't actually part of the business. And but that's because network marketing is about selling products, and we're not about selling products. We're about a membership organization, and it's a different thing that we're introducing people to. There was also a warning about if you're sending someone to a training that you don't know anything about, what if that training's not compliant? What if it's teaching the wrong things? And compliance obviously is something that Hyperfund is putting plenty of emphasis on at the moment, so that we're all singing from the same hymn sheet, and we're using the right information, and we're not getting ourselves or the company into hot water by suggesting that it's a financial product, which it's not. So if you're not personally in control of what your new members are hearing and how they're going to be doing it, then you're not certain that you're leading them in the right direction. Okay, so I couldn't find a picture of unloading a pistol and taking the bullets out that made any sense. So here's a bulletproof jacket, which has the same sort of meaning. So how do you get over that issue? Well, you can provide your own remote training. And that was the recommendation in the book as well. And they suggested providing a one-page training outline, and then discussing that and answering questions, arranging weekly coaching sessions with new members. Some of that's done for us by our leadership call and other things. Definitely letting them know that they can contact me, contact you whenever they need to. Being a mentor for them, and training them as a leader, because this is all about how do you say that word? Duplicating the opportunity. And we want leaders who will grow their own networks. In the book, they put up a chart of what the multi-level marketing opportunity flowchart looks like, and suggested sort of training program that relates to that, but that's not what we need. And in a previous session, I put up something that was my understanding of an overview of what our system is. That is what we're trying to train people to do, which is basically generate leads, contact them, get them to a presentation, either the live Zoom presentations, or send them a video, and then follow up to get them on board, preferably with a three-way call with your upline, sign them up, take them through that process with the Hyperfund platform, get their account funded with them, and then the importance of continual training, such as we're doing now. So it's obviously important that the training that they get relates to the right system. So we're in an incredibly fortunate position because we've got Hyperfund, so a really good platform, and we're also got access to a whole load of weekly trainings. The live presentations, of which there's at least one every day, and some days multiple ones. The weekly leadership training on a Sunday, technical trainings at the weekend, our 6 p.m. Sunday leadership call, which for me is perhaps the most important one of the week. 5 a.m. personal development, which has really helped me accelerate what I'm doing with my team. And then more recently, these two trainings that Derek's leading for us, this one and the one on Wednesday evening. So there's plenty of training available, and we all need to make sure that our team members are aware of them and encouraged to go to them. So the first bit was about plugging people into someone else's training. The second bit about the potential to plug a prospect into someone else's recruiting meeting. And it's suggested in the book that sending your prospect on their own to someone else's recruiting meeting is pure lunacy, because basically they're going to get poached. So the book is also saying you don't really need to send a prospect to someone else's meeting, but even if you do, you need as much personal information involvement as possible. So inviting people to presentations is a key part of our system. We need to share our enthusiasm when we're doing that, but then they go to a Zoom meeting or watch a video rather than someone else's meeting, and then we have a follow-up Zoom or phone call, and connect them with our upline potentially and get them signed up. So the book has a section on issues of integrity that come up, particularly when you send someone to someone else's recruiting meeting. So it describes recruiting meetings where everyone who arrives with their prospects, everyone has to sign in and give their contact details. And then the meeting starts and that register disappears. And then later you find that your prospect has been contacted by the organizer and invited to sign up in their team. It also talks about prospects who've been stolen by the leaders in your own team when you put them in contact. So obviously that's just not going to work, because we do work as a team. We get lots of support from our upline, and we need to be able to trust them. And that means that we need to be trustworthy as well, and not try to pinch prospects. Derek is a wonderful example, because early on, when I was thinking I'll never manage to get anyone to sign up under me, he actually gave me a team member that he'd found and signed up, and that really encouraged me. So thank you, Derek. But that's the spirit that really works, and we can trust each other, and working together as a team so much increases my motivation to keep going when I get discouraged. So we also discourage people from pitching a different business to other people's members, or indeed anyone, because I don't know. Hyperfund is well enough for me. If I tried to work other businesses as well, I wouldn't be putting anything like the effort into the one that's going to really make money for me. So this is a sort of summary slide of the whole presentation, which is basically that there's actually no need to plug new members into a group that's more local to them, because this business can be taught successfully remotely. That's what the authors of First Year in Network Marketing were saying, but it's even more true now, because Zoom has pretty much replaced physical meetings. So support and train your members, make use of the Zoom trainings, so that they understand the business, have success, and don't want to leave. The only remaining thing is that if you find a prospect and you don't speak their language, it's a bit hard to think how you would do that anyway. Then the language barrier could be a problem. But again, there are presentations and videos in other languages that are available. Okay, so that was the presentation. Does anyone want to say anything? Shall I close this down? And so, hi Huntley, go ahead.
Can you hear me now, Jill?
Yes, I can.
Great. Yeah, no, I just want to pick up on that point you were just saying, and Derek will associate with this, regards to having another business and trying to run it as well as Hyperfund. And I've been guilty of doing that myself in the last few weeks, a few months. So, you know, you've got to really look at what you feel is what you need to concentrate on. And obviously Hyperfund, for me, is the vehicle that's going to get me where I want to get. And so although I've got the other business, that will go to the side and will tick along just quietly while I focus 100% on Hyperfund, because quite candidly, this is something, well, basically I've never seen anything like this, and I think it's probably the best opportunity I've ever seen. And particularly in this group, as we've got a really good community of people that are attending the meetings. So I'd just say to anyone else out there, you know, from my experience, if you've got something else going on, I would say possibly try and think of Hyperfund as your main focus, because you spread yourself too thinly and it just doesn't work. And, you know, getting back to Derek, yeah, I mean, brilliant leader. And myself and Derek just helped somebody else get started. And very kindly, Derek decided to help me gift this to this particular lady who's come in on the Hyperfund. So it shows you the calibre of the leaders that we've got. So I hope that hasn't embarrassed you, Derek. I just wanted to let everyone know where you are and what sort of a fella you are. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. Really appreciate that, mate. So that's kind of my input on that. Hope that's helped you.
Yeah, thanks, Antley.
Thank you, Antley. Anyone else want to make any comments before we do the next little bit that I was going to do? Yeah, John. Hi, John.
Hello, Derek. It's Derek Appreciation Day. Yeah, the upline is very, very important. Obviously, I've just completed my first week now. And without your help, Derek, I think it would have been impossible really to be able to get anybody signed up. But obviously I've got two people signed now that we've been able to talk to. What I would say, what for me personally, what I think would make it easier and less scary, if you like, is if we have some kind of video, because I've gone onto YouTube to look for videos how to sign people up on Hyperfund, how to fund the Hyperfund, because without that knowledge, if you're not available, say, it's going to be a scary process for new people if they've got other people interested and they want to sign. If people try and go it alone without the help of the upline, it's going to be really, really difficult. So I just wanted to first say thank you very much for the help that you've given me, Derek, and you know, to think about that really.
Okay, good question, John. And these videos are available, and there are links available in our main groups. If you go into the main groups like the Hyperfund Prosperity Community, again, maybe we need to be more open about what's in there. You can actually go in and actually look. Let me just see if I can share and give you an idea of how to look for it. Okay, let's just show you. It's a good question. Okay, so this is the main group now here. The only thing is I can't see the top. Hold on, let me just see if I can. Let's go into the main group. Okay, so here's Hyperfund Prosperity. I go into the top bit here, Hyperfund, and click on it, and then it allows you to find links, videos, photos, files. So on those different things, you can actually look for the particular links. But what we are doing, and I will say this, we are actually trying to form a website where all this information will be to hand, like a one-stop shop. Presentations in Hindi. I know sometimes you have to go through quite a lot to find the particular thing you're looking for. Presentation overflow, Zoom is full. Okay, that's where you go. If the Zoom meetings are full, there's an overflow. There's a lot of information in here. So yeah, what we're going to try and do is put it into one website where you can send people, and it'll have all the getting started videos, it'll have all the other bits and you know, meetings, etc. So in here somewhere I know there is a video on how to get started, how to fund your Hyperfund account, etc. So there is quite a lot in here. We just need to make it more easily available. But if you do want to search through here, you can find all the relevant information. You can also, yeah, you can also find the things like the due diligence documents, any photos. In here's different videos that have come through as well. If you click on that, you see the videos. Not a lot of people know that you've actually got this facility, both in Telegram and in the WhatsApp group as well. If you want files, here are the files: Hypertech due diligence file, part 1, part 2, short overview of Hyper community, welcome to Hyperfund. Let's just see what we've got here. Team workbook, that's an interesting one actually to use. The reward system itself. Here we go, how to fund and withdraw from Hyperfund. So that's the video you're looking for. First year network marketing, that's the books that we're following, etc. And that's actually a really good PDF, because that's what we're following now with Jill. Every week we do a different chapter. So yeah, there is information. Unfortunately, it's not all in one place yet. I think mostly because this happened so fast. You know, I've only been in week 22 now, and we didn't expect it to grow this fast. You know, Boris and I have been in many organizations. We didn't expect to be so doing so well so soon. And I suppose we're in a rocket ship basically. It's knowing how to manage it. So the good thing is that, yeah. So that's the basics. That'll give you some idea. Yeah. So that'll be on this video we've recorded today, which is good. And then what I'm going to do in a minute, if anyone hasn't got any other questions, any other questions about what Jill covered today? If not, then yeah, carry on.
Just to say about video links, because we're all tightening up on compliance. A lot of videos were taken down last week.
True.
So some of the links may not work, and I guess replacement videos will appear in due course. I've actually got a Word document, and I copy links into it so that I can find them easily whenever I find material that I think will be useful to share with people. I make sure that I have my link to it, because yes, the ones in the Telegram and WhatsApp group are useful, but you have to spend quite a bit of time scrolling through them to find what you want.
Yeah, no, that's right, Jill. And again, one of the things we're trying to do is put this website together. The problem we're having is time, because you guys are keeping us too busy. We're joining people up at a rate of about at the moment currently 20 to 30 people a week. So you know, people are thinking that just one leg is where I'm working, but I'm working with several groups at a time. So is Boris, and so is Volker, and it becomes difficult when we're trying to train leaders at the same time. And to that end, actually, this Tuesday we'll have a leadership training where we're actually going to start talking to people. And the leader, by the way, is anybody who's actually brought one person in is officially a leader, really. So depending on your abilities and your wants and needs, etc., we suggest that, you know, people attend any leadership training, and it's going to be a weekly thing, which is going to show you what you need to do to start working your group and start taking over from your upline. A lot of the time we're working in groups where the upline are not actually working in the groups themselves. The people, that means the people that are personally sponsored, for example. So the objective there is to do things like pre-presentation presentations. So what you'd actually talk about with somebody prior to actually sending them to a presentation. So it makes it easier then when you get comfortable with that to actually start doing the presentation yourself. once you actually take over this business or take over the idea of presentation, remember on the 6th of May, I hadn't got a clue what this was all about. So I've had to learn. And if you think about it in that sense, that your business is your business from you down, even though you're part of a much bigger group, it's important for you to start taking control. I took control of my business from day one, even though I don't know what I was doing, because I knew I had to be the leader. I knew I had to be the person who was actually helping the people in the team. And to that end, people sometimes assume you're part of the company because you've got quite a lot of knowledge, and you have to build up your knowledge, and the only way I find this ability to build up knowledge is to go to all the trainings, to go to all the meetings, because the more you do of it, the more insightful you become, the more you understand how it all ticks. And I'm not saying I can answer all the questions, and if I don't know an answer, then I'll go upline to Boris, and if Boris doesn't know, he'll go upline to Volker, and Volker will go up to Kalpesh, so we've always got somebody to talk to who will help us answer questions. And I've been up to Kalpesh a number of times when I knew Boris or Volker couldn't answer the question I was asking. So yeah, we've got a fantastic leadership team all the way from the company corporate right down to Kalpesh and all the other leaders in between. Just to let you know, we are actually, just so you know yourself where we are, there are a couple of there's just over 1 million people and members in the team, and we are actually let's just work this out now. Kalpesh, then we've got let's see, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We're about 6. I'm about 6 levels down from Kalpesh in terms of sponsor line. It's an interesting makeup actually, because Boris and I both chose to actually join under Volker. We've known Volker for many years. He's been in many of our businesses as our downline. He's never sponsored a single person. And he did approach Boris about this, even though we'd been approached by Kalpesh 1.5 years ago. So we actually went back to Volker because we felt that we could benefit him and he could benefit out of this, and that's what's happened. Because as a result of us joining now, and Volker now building a team as well outside our leg, he's doing very, very well, which is fantastic from our point of view. It's taken many years, but it's great to see your downline now being in your upline. So that's how it is. So yeah, we joined up with Volker, and we chose to do that because he contacted Boris. This was in April this year, and then we did speak to Kalpesh as well. We didn't want to join up with Kalpesh because of we know he's a very busy person as well. But we chose Volker, and because we chose Volker, we know we've got access to Kalpesh. So that's the thing I want you guys to know, is we have got direct access to him because we know him personally. And for goodness sake, he's a good person to know, because he's over 65,000 a day now, so he's doing very, very well. He's probably got over several hundred frontline people, and a few 100,000 maybe in his whole team. So we're just one leg of his, if you like, and we're a small leg because we came in quite late. But we're growing very rapidly. We're over 200 now. If we look at Boris's team plus my team, it's well over 200. My team alone is about 200 people now. I don't know all the members that are joining, but we share everything. So Boris, myself, and Volker share our team members, and we share our group and everything we do in it. So yeah, anybody else want to ask anything about Jill's training? And then I'll move on to my bit, just to give you an idea of how we're going to structure things. Yeah, Huntley, go ahead.
Just quickly, just picking up what Jim was saying about how when she first came in, she thought she had absolutely no idea how she's going to sign anybody up, which is quite often a fear that a lot of people have when they first start. But I think that's down to, obviously, as you said, Derek, the consistent training and help from the upline. So to allay any fears of anybody that's just sort of joined, I feel that this type of meeting and consistently coming to these meetings is what's going to get you in a position of being able to sign up prospective partners, as it were, or members. So that's pretty much my take on that. I'm sure that Jill would agree, as she was in that particular scenario, weren't you, Jill, where you thought, I'll never sign anybody up, and look where you are now.
Yeah, yeah, and it gets easier the more you do it. Um, because to start with, I was sort of how can I possibly talk to anyone about this, because talking to people about money just wasn't something that that I did. But yeah, you can learn anything, I think, and people here are so helpful at teaching you.
Thank you. Mark, you want to say something?
Hi, Derek and all.
Hi.
Good morning to you. Thanks for this training. It's absolutely brilliant. Really appreciate it. And thanks, Jill. Just fantastic the way you present things. And I just wanted to ask Derek, I've got a downline of my cousins who is really wanting to have a three-way call with me, yourself. So we can learn from your strategy about how to sign people up. Is that going to be okay? Because
Yeah, just get back to me at some times, Mark, and I'll see what I've got available. Unfortunately, I am getting busier and busier. But yeah, just get back to me sometimes with 2 or 3 windows, and then we'll see what we can do.
Yep. Okay. Brilliant.
And then going back to that, guys, you know, as you get busier and busier, what the idea is really to train people in your teams, train people in your front line, i.e. the 20 people. Now, if you're actually sponsoring people, it doesn't mean you'll find a leader on your front line. You might find a leader in depth. What I mean by a leader, okay, what makes a leader or the potential leader that we're looking for? First of all, they've got to be coachable. That's crucial. So I always ask people, you know, are you coachable? And then the other thing also they've got to be a person who's willing to attend the trainings, because how else are they going to learn? I can't physically train every single person individually on a one-to-one. It's almost impossible with all the knowledge I have and the knowledge of the teams, etc. So we've got to put the training in place. So we're looking for people to help us with the training. Jill's one of our trainers. She's been in the business a while, and it's usually experience that allows people to actually train. So that's important as well. So we're starting all these different trainings, and we're going to actually upload some videos, and that's important as well, because we're going to have like a reference base. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see the previous videos that we've done already. And avail yourselves of them and use them for your downline. You know, get your downline to watch them. You know, none of them are asking people to join. They're actually training on specifics, different specifics, and with Jill's trainings as well, they're on there. So it's important for you to actually make use of that and use it for your benefit. Anyone else before we move on? What's the time now? 8:44. I've got about 15 minutes to do my bit.
Hi, Derek.
Hi, Jill.
I just wanted to ask, because the gentleman who just spoke asked, you know, something that I would like to ask you as well. So I just wonder if that's something you could do on one of the training sessions, so that we all get access, because I have been doing this for not much longer than you, and you're doing sort of 30, 40 people a week. I only really started to speak to people in September, and I've signed up 2 or 3 people. And I'm really keen. I've done medical sales before, but I've never really done something where I have to speak to people who know nothing about it, that they're not already organised calls. So I could do with some help on that. I know you've had some training before with external speakers coming in. How do you sort of start conversations? But I think that would be great, because I'm getting a lot of people sort of saying, oh, I don't believe it. It's you know, how can it be so good? You know, how can, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, I will say one thing, Jules, and this is probably people who are prepared to get out of their comfort zone. We cover all of that in the 5 a.m. club, literally. Okay. It's powerful. It is one thing that I didn't want to do in the beginning, because I'm a night owl. I found it very difficult to wake up, but now I've made a habit of it.
Right.
It's made a massive difference to my success and the people in Tim. And it's no coincidence that the people in the 5 a.m. are the people who are succeeding the most. Now, the reason why the 5 a.m. is because it's getting people out of their comfort zone. And the reason why it's important to get out of your comfort zone is because to get freedom, you need, it's not free, okay? There is a price to pay. Unfortunately, when we're working, I was working 40 to 60 hours when I started. It's not easy because you've got to do it in your spare time. You've got to do it in, you know, every minute that you have, you think differently. I was actually sending messages to people in between cooking. I was working in a pub, and I was actually doing meals, and in between the meals, or in between, you know, one table being served and another, I was sending messages on my phone. And I felt that was the only way I could do it. And then in the evenings, I'd actually make contact with the people I'd actually send messages or sent the presentation to. So there's always a way. And the reason why we do the 5 a.m. as well is because a lot of people like to start their day off with a bang. And the good thing about that is nobody can say I'm at work. Well, there's very few. There are a few night people, but most people are actually able to get up and then go off to work after. So I would highly recommend that because it actually gets your mindset right. The thing about people saying the things that they say, which is quite common amongst a lot of people, is a mindset thing. Because once you have the sort of belief level that, for example, I have, Jill have, and a few other people have, their mindsets change as well, because the way you approach it is completely different. Imagine, Jules, that you were a CEO of a company that turned over several million, and you were looking for a second in command. What sort of posture would you have? Do you see what I mean? It's that sort of attitude you've got to have almost, because potentially we can change people's lives forever, and potentially we're going to be talking. I mean, I've literally been speaking to people this week who are going to put millions into this, and that would not have happened had I not built up the knowledge base I've got. Those sort of people would be turning around to me, how do I know it's a scam, etc. These sort of people don't even ask that question. They just want to know it works. They just want to know it's going to working for them. And you know, imagine somebody putting 1 million. Boris has already had somebody put 750,000 in. So you know, it's really about mindset and attitude. It's nothing else. And once you get the right mindset, then I even said to people, 2 people the other day, I actually was on a presentation on a 3-way call, and I said, look, guys, I don't really care whether you join or not. I'm here to show you what works. If you don't see it, then that's your choice. And they both signed up. You know, one signed up for 5,000, the other one signed up for 3,000, I think it was. And they were so negative throughout the whole presentation. And the point there is that, you know, it's not about you, it's about them. It's always about them. When you speak to people, you've got to say to yourself, how can I make your life better? And if you keep saying that,
can I ask though, do you generally try and get them onto the live presentation first? Because quite often I found that if you can talk to people first, that seems to work better. But
that's what I'm going to be training. I agree totally. You need to do a pre-presentation talk, and it's important. A lot of people are frightened to actually physically talk with people. They'll send meetings, I mean, they'll send texts and everything else. But I believe personally, and Boris, and so does Volker, you've got to physically talk, whether on WhatsApp, whether on Zoom, whatever, because you've got to feel the nature of that person. You've got to feel their emotion. You've got to be actually able to get them to feel your sincerity.
Yeah, sure.
Because it comes across. If people can hear or feel that sincerity from you.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. That's okay.
All going off now.
So yes, it's important to actually do that. Personal.
Thank you.
Mommy.
Thanks so much.
All right, no problem. No problem.
Mommy. And thanks, Jill, as well, for the presentation.
Okay, let's move on, guys. I've got a few minutes to show you what I'm doing and how I do it. Okay, so the important thing, let me just unrecord this because I'm going to be showing back office and stuff.